Alright, what is up guys? This is Gamesteel Gaming here, King Kaiju, and today we're bringing you a very special deck profile. This is my own personal deck, the Dark Magicians. Amazing deck. I haven't topped with it yet, although my friend was actually using it and he did top with it at locals though. I intend to use this at regionals. I want to see how well it does. Now, this is definitely not anywhere near the Jeff Jones build. This is my own personal build. This is how I like to play it. It's very trap heavy just because I love the traps, but this deck is so much fun and I always enjoy playing it. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so first of all, you play 3 Dark Magician. It's absolutely necessary. Everything revolves around this one card just because that's basically the whole deck. Next, you play 3 Magician of Dark Illusion. I play 3 because it's an Allure target, and then of course you can get it on your opponent's turn easy. It's a Spellcaster, so a lot of my cards work with it, and it works really well with this deck. Next up, I play 3 Magician's Rod. It's a normal summon Spellcaster, which is very important for this deck. It's more important than you think, just because a lot of my cards require having Spellcasters on field, so just drawing this not only gets your combos off, but you can also search a card. So it's a free +1. You can search off a circle or navigation. It just really does depend on what your hand is. Seeing this card could just make your hand 100% with just one. Next, we play 1 Magician's Robe. I never really use this effect. It's not great. Like, discard a spell, get a free Dark Magician, that's okay. But I mean, like, usually you don't need it. You can get it with different ways. I really don't play because it's a lure target and it's also a normal summonable spellcaster. Next up, I play 2 Chocolate Magician Girl. This is a personal preference. A lot of people hate this card, but it's a normal summon spellcaster, and you get a discard for draw. So you can discard Dark Magician to draw, and then you can use Eternal Soul to get it back. Like, you shouldn't be worried about discarding spellcasters. Also, I would like to point out, it is 2 level 4 waters, so you could go into stuff like Bahamut Shark and make Tree Toad. So yes, you can actually play Tree Toad in this deck. I would not necessarily recommend it, although you do have a lot of extra deck space. So that's, if you have it, you could play it. Also, the fact that when they swing into this without reading, it's hilarious. You can pull Dark Magician back out, get Circle Effect, and they have to swing into Dark Magician. It does a lot of damage. All in all, I think it's a pretty good card. Next up, we have 2 Effect Veiler. You can change this out for whatever hand trap you like. Some people, you can do Max C. Some people play Winter Cherries just because it's a dark spellcaster. Actually, it's a zombie, my bad. It's dark though, so you get an Allure target. But the fact is, you have a lot of extra deck space, so it really does depend on like which hand trap you want to play. You can play basically any one, and it'll work well with the deck. I just play this because it's a spellcaster, and you can use it off of like a Chocolate Magician Girl or anything else that requires a spellcaster. Next up, we're going to our spell and trap lineup. First, we're going to start off with spells. One of the most important cards in the entire deck is Dark Magical Circle. You of course play 3. This one is, it's not an exact +1, it's not guaranteed, but it almost always is. And then of course when you special summon, you get to banish stuff on the field. It does target, which is the only bad thing about it. And you can't always get what you want. There are times when you play it and you can't add anything. But then you do get to arrange your deck afterwards, so it's like if you have Allure in hand, it lets you see what you're going for, so you don't blind Allure. Next up, I play 3 Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Most people don't play this. I just like it. If I draw it and I see it, it's like I have a free lockout. That's why I play so many low-level spellcasters like Chocolate Magician or Magician's Rod. Just get this out, and a lot of decks can't handle it very well. Obviously, if you're playing against like Magic Specters, it's a dead card, so you just side it out for game 2. It mostly works against Blue Eyes as well if you're going first. Although, of course, there is the Sage as well. If they're normal summon Sage, you have a problem. But otherwise, it actually works really well against a lot of decks. Next up, we play 3 Allure of Darkness. We have a ton of dark targets. So, and if you banish a Dark Magician, it's fine. Usually you're going to be banishing a Dark Illusion, but otherwise everything else is fine. You can afford to banish a Dark Magician or 2 and not have to worry too much. This really does help because you can draw into stuff that you need. Next up, I play 2 Illusion Magic. This says tribute 1 spellcaster, add 2 Dark Magician to hand. That's why I play so many low-level spellcasters to get them out on the field quickly. It basically just says add a Dark Magician to hand, which is really good for this deck because so many cards require having it in hand, like a Navigation. This card makes Navigation live. Eternal Soul. If you don't have your grave set up, you can make your hand set up for Eternal Soul. Like, there's just so many ways you can get Dark Magician out with this. Next up, I played 2 Dark Magic Attack and 1,000 Knives. These are all searchable because of Eternal Soul. There are other cards that search it too, but you can specifically search it off of this, and you can do it like on your opponent's end phase too. It's great. Dark Magic Attack is a deck archetype specific heavy storm, which is amazing. This destroys Magic Specters, Paleozoics, anything with a back row. And 1,000 Knives just because it's searchable and it can get over problem cards like that. Next up, I play 1 Dark Magic Inheritance. This was actually a test, but so far it works pretty well. I don't always use it, but when I see it, it can really help me get cards and stuff that I could really use. If I were ever to play other stuff in here, like say Pot of Desires or something, I would probably take this one out though. It's pretty good, but it's not the best card in here. Next, we're going to our trap lineup. First of all, I play 3 Eternal Soul. This card is the card that made this deck really, really good. It does have that caveat that says, like, if it leaves the field, destroy all monsters you can control. But it's, which can suck, but that's why I play stuff like Secret Village to prevent your opponent from Twin Twistering it or MSTing it. Just because when you have this card out in the field in Dark Magician, there's almost nothing they can do. I will say though, it does have a bad matchup against Blue Eyes just because it's a monster effect that pops this, so it does lose to that. There is actually a ruling that says if it goes into the deck, its effect does not activate because cards can't activate in the deck, so that's a nice little thing. So it's not always a terrible thing, but for the most part, if it gets hit, it does suck, but it really does make the deck live. Next up, I play 2 Navigation. I might bump this up to 3, although I usually don't use it enough to bump it up to 3, and I don't really search it that often. So it is a fun card, but I don't know if it's the best card, but it is still a really good card. I would definitely play it at least 2, maybe even 3. Next, I play 1 Black Illusion. This was also a test card, although it actually works pretty well. You don't really want to see it that often, and you can't search it, but like when you do activate and resolve its effect, it's actually pretty good also as a trap, so you can just like activate on your opponent's turn for no reason and then just like get all your Dark Magicians out, because a Dark Illusion can special summon on your opponent's turn if you activate a trap. So you have a bunch of stuff that you can activate without waiting for your opponent. Next up, 1 Dark Renewal. I only played 1 of this, and I might even cut this out completely. This card is not that great. It does stop your opponent from doing stuff, although their summon still goes through, so if it's a summon effect, it really doesn't work, but if it's like Summoner Monk or something, you could just like hit it, and then that way you get stuff on your field and then stop their combos. So it's okay, but it's not the best thing I've seen. Next up, I played 2 Solemn Strike and 1 Solemn Warning. I really want to bump this up to 3. I'll probably take out like a Inheritance or Dark Renewal for it. Either way, I really want to bump this up, although I don't know if it's going to be too cloggy. This just really stops your opponent's combos, also their traps, so if you activate it on their turn, a lot of your effects go off. Next up, I play 1 Mirror Force. This is like just the spirit of Yugi, just because it's funny to play Mirror Force. I really do want to upgrade this to Quaking though. I would definitely recommend that over this, just because if you run into something like, say, Lunalights, for example, and they can't be targeted, you switch them to face down, and all of a sudden they can't. So yeah, I want to upgrade this to Quaking. I might boost it up to 2 if I have 2 Quakings, although right now I'm only playing 1. And then last but not least, I play 1 Vanities, just because in this meta you flip Vanities and you basically win the game. Next up, we have the side deck. I played 2 Sevaris. This is just for my Magic Specter sides. You're going to see I have a lot of Magic Specter side, just because I play 3 Secret Village. Whenever I play them, I already have 3 cards I'm taking out. So you're going to see like a whole bunch of stuff. This is just like, because a lot of my stuff gets targeted, and while necessarily I don't have to worry about it, like this just helps, because they tribute their own stuff and then you clear their field too. So this is actually pretty good setting and stuff. Next up, I play 1 Sorcerer of Dark Magic. Just because he says no traps, basically, because you can negate it as many times as you want and then destroy it. So Paleozoics, it works really well against. It works well against Magic Specters, although I don't really play this very often. You usually don't need it, but just in case, I have 1. Next up, I play 2 Maxi, just in case I play against something that special summons a lot. Then I can have more cards in my hand, which can be really helpful. Next, I play 3 Kaikus. This is mostly for ABCs, just because it stops them from banishing, but it can work against stuff like Ritual Beasts, which I actually have seen a little bit of play at locals sometimes, and then other stuff that banishes from Graveyard. Next up, I have 2 Ghost Ogres. This is for ABCs once again, and anything else that has stuff on the field. This is actually really effective against the Mirror Match, because you can hit Eternal Soul with it, or you can hit the Circle with it. Next up, you play 3 System Down. This is once again for ABCs, or any basically rogue machine deck, like Cosmos if they're still around, or Despots if they're still around. And then last but not least, I play 2 Imperial Ironwall. Once again, for anything that likes to banish, basically just there just because, you know, always a good card. Now onto the extra deck. I play 2 level low synchros. My tuner is Effect Veiler. That's part of why I play her, because she's a tuner and a spellcaster, so she does synchronize well with the deck. I play 1 Herald, 1 Armades. I'm going to cut this out for Ally Justice because I never make this. It really only works against BA, and I don't really have a problem with BA. Next up, for my big ones, I play Crimson Blader, 1 Scarlight, 1 Omega, and 1 Trish. Rarely ever make Trish, and almost never have the means to make her, although when you do make her, it's pretty good. Omega, just in case you banish stuff off of Allure and stuff you want back, so this is really good as well. Scarlight just to bomb the field, he's awesome, and then Crimson Blader to put even more of a lock on them. Next up for our low level XYZs, 1 Diamond Dire, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Daigusto. When I put Tree Toad in here, I will take this out for Bahamut Shark, and I do actually have an extra space in this deck. I'm only playing a 14 card extra deck right now, so I just take this out, put in Bahamut Shark, and I have a free Tree Toad right there. And then for the level 7s, I play 1 Big Eye because he's a spellcaster. I really do want to bump this up to 2 though, so because spellcaster really works with the deck, and he's dark too, so a lot of stuff can target him. In my deck, of course. 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal, 1 Dracossack. Next up, I play 1 Ebon High Magician and then 2 Ebon Illusion Magician. This is just in case I get a bunch of traps in my hand, and also because you can play Eternal Soul from hand, which makes it a lot less hard to hit. Because if you have it on field, it's really easy to hit with stuff, but if you have it in hand, they can't hit it, and you can activate it whenever you like. And then, of course, I have 2 Ebon Illusion Magician, just because you go into this, especially summon Dark Magician. If you have a circle in the field, you can banish something. Then when Dark Magician attacks, you can banish something again. So just making this is always a really good idea. And I do need to shout out to Tournament City Games. This is where we're filming it right now. They don't have a website yet, but go ahead and check them out if you're ever in Frederick. That's Tournament City Games, and this is King Kaiju signing out.